Police Department, considered by many to be one of the best in the country, is under attack.
The police is here for one reason, and this is suppress and oppress black people, especially the young men. You don't have any chance in the black communities, especially in the ghetto. I was arrested 1 week 3 times in quick succession. It was for disorderly conduct. This is what they put on the arrest report. And it was for nothing, for just walking down the street, for being on the street.
You could be mugged and robbed on that street right now and be hospitalized for 6 months to a year with no recourse, and the guy that did it to you will be in and out of that lockup in 4 hours and standing before a judge within a couple hours, and he'll be discharged because you can't testify against him or no witness or no proof. You as a white man, try walking through this district at night, and you'll never make it. Also, colored men can't make it through the district at night. Women aren't safe on the street. We can't give them prison. The minute you grab a guy trying to grab somebody, you know what I'm saying, you're wrong. And these are our laws today. And the country's going right down the drain. I call it the death of the city. The people out there aren't safe at night. They can't even sit on their front porches. You know why? Because we can't do nothing about it. Now, if you see 4 or 5 guys walking through an alley at night or walking down the street, we can't stop them. If we do stop them, it's harassment. Yet, we got to wait till they commit the crime before we can pinch them. And after the crime is done, what good is it?
There is a lot of brutality, sure, but it could be called upon itself. And if it wasn't for the Chicago Police Department, this would be a very terrible place to live in Chicago.
It all depends on how you define brutality. Maybe there are people who get not roughed up, but a little rougher treatment, mainly because when they try to fight the policeman, they feel if they fight a policeman and try to get away, they can accuse him of brutality. There are some people that you cannot handle with kid gloves. It's absolutely impossible. 1 man in a 1-man squad car or 2 men cannot handle 2 people without physically putting them in a car.
You see so many people that don't do anything get beaten for no reason at all, or stop for no reason at all. Just like you can't sit around this neighborhood after it gets dark. Here they come. Where you going? What you doing on the streets? You don't know whether I'm working or not. Ask me whether I'm working. I can be a working man. I mean, as long as I work, I'm entitled to walk the streets.
I personally don't even like to put my hands on anybody. If it's at all, you know, if I'm able to avoid it, period, I would rather just say, well, okay, get in the car, come with me, you know, you're being charged with such and such or whatever. I would rather not even touch anybody. I would rather just say, well, okay, come with me, and you know that you're caught, and if you do resist, I will have to use necessary force to take you in. Aside from that, I don't even put my hands on anyone. I would rather not. And I personally don't believe in even handcuffing anybody if it's not necessary. If it becomes necessary for me to do that, then I will do it. I consider that as necessary force.
You know, these people's lives are at stake trying to help us. And I think they're wonderful people. I think God should bless them all.
We know we have some riff-raffs and people that are not for the right thing, it's true. And then there are other people, for instance, myself. I know I'm a law-abiding citizen, and yet they will pull you over and they're really not courteous to you at all if they feel that you've made a violation, or in some cases I know, and I was pulled over at one time and I know I had made a violation. But he called you a boy, and, you know, and I don't like that because I'm a man, 60 years old, and I conduct myself in that manner, and I don't feel that I should be called a boy.
What do you think the main complaint of people in the black community against the police is? Is it mostly brutality, or is it an attitude of the police to them?
It's attitude.
How do you mean?
The way that a person is spoken to as a human being. He should be spoken to with courtesy. And a lot of policemen don't do this.
The police don't want you standing on the corner. Where are you going to go? You can't go in the park. They run you out of the park. They run you everywhere. What you going to do? Just stay in that one room, that little hot room that you got or something like that?
They should put black officers in black neighborhoods, you know. I think you're not going to get away with breaking the law, but still yet, that's that rapport about black to black, you see.
Black people are getting tired of policemen just riding around looking for minor automobile violations, and we want crime control in our community. We want a safe community, and we'll cooperate with the police 100%. But I think the police need to understand the people a little better.
Somewhere communication between the public and the police have broken down, and we need better understanding. Maybe we need better workshops, as far as the police are concerned, between the public and the police.
Chicago's a funny city. It's good. I was born and raised here. It's a funny city. If you can't live here, you can't live nowhere else. But I tell you one thing. Somebody got to live here, especially the policemen. They should know that. They should know that. And they should have some respect for the people that they got to protect. When you want them, you can't get them. And when you don't want them, there they are.
There is also dissatisfaction among the people in the barrios. They dislike the police for two major reasons. They believe policemen look down on them, and they regard the officers as the enforcers of the oppressive laws of a society that they say has kept them hungry and poor. There's a great deal of tension here. Latins expressed amazement that as a reporter I would actually have to ask them if they hate policemen. Of course we do, they said. After what they've done to our people and the way they act, of course. Many Latins in the Chicago barrios are either naturalized citizens or first-generation Americans who have not yet mastered the English language. Their lack of language can make it hard for them to understand a policeman's questions or even understand his orders. The police sometimes interpret this reaction as resistance, inviting force. Many young Latins on the streets spoke to me of violence. There are more militant posters all over the barrio, and the cry of "Ya basta," enough is enough, is louder than ever. Chicago Latins are saying something must be done.
I think that the older people suffer a lot of discrimination insofar as a lot of them are illegal. A lot of the police, for instance, is finding out that they are illegal, will, take money from them, I've known a couple of cases where as soon as police identify illegals, that in this particular case, that every other week, 3 individuals were giving $50 to a certain police. And it got to the point where, the people were working for the police. It's just been, like an ill feeling, that, the police department is somebody, you don't deal with, And, like you can notice the people's faces on the street. If as soon as the police stops, there becomes a whole awareness, of, well, who do they want? Do they want me, or who are they looking for, And there's a kind of a tense feeling all the time, And, it's like walking down the street and always have to look behind your back.
We stand out. Our accent stands out. Our color stands out. The way that we go about having a good time stands out. We stand out as being different. They discriminate because we are different. They don't believe us to be American citizens. And they've so stated. Sometimes a person will come up to one of us and say, I'm an American working with so-and-so. Well, what is our answer? We're just as American.
I will say without any fear to mistake myself that if the acts of abuse continue, they are asking for trouble.
Yo, I was out for lunch and shit, puffing on the blunt to get my head wrecked. Boogie into my Walkman with the S on my chest. Bust the move. Yes, I'm a superhero, don't forget. I smoke mad niggas, so to hell with cigarettes. But anyway, let's get back to the skit. You know who the fuck I am, so get off that old bullshit. Time was up. Fuck! Let me jet or I collect unemployment bucks. On the way back, Jack, I spotted this object, a stray cat, stuck in a tree with the tag that say that. Info, please return to this address. Nigga, with my x-ray eyesight like I jetted to the closest phone booth with flash. I dipped into my super lover suit. I can leave, boom, right through the fucking phone booth ceiling. Nah, Superman Lover's the name. I can slam King Kong and pick up freight trains on a mission. This save this cat that was wishing he was in his litter, watching Fritz on Channel 6 and relaxing, feet cocked up, just a little with the cocktail and the bowl, the tender bills. I snatched him, took off through the air like a pigeon, quick so he won't start meowing and bitching. Then landed at the cat's tag address in the projects. Elevators roll, so I have to take the back steps. The doors opened and my eyes swole from this badass honey sipping a quarter old gold. Yo, is this your cat?
Oh, yes, where you find him at?
He was stuck in a tree about uptown Manhattan.
Well, how the hell did you save him? Are you police undercover?
Nah, baby,
Come on,
the S on my chest stands for
Come on, baby.
Superman lover, yeah. They call me the Superman lover, yeah. There's something wrong. Something wrong with me. Something wrong.
She was grateful, looking for ways to repay me.
No money, a donut and some coffee, maybe. Of course. What kind to show that I thank
I'll
you?
make my donut jelly and my coffee safer. We sat, unhooked the cape from my back. She felt my arms, just my pythons look
God damn, super lover. Your shit look thick. Tell me, how strong are you with muscles like this, you bad motherfucker?
Hockey, hit you like Rocky. She dashed to the room and came back with an ounce. Negligee, high heel shoes with a blunt in her mouth. Ready to roll up. Hey, hold up. She had a dollar folder to mix the coke with the smoke. Yo, she was no joke. She took a sniff. Some got on her top lip. That bitch stuck out her tongue and gave her top lip a lick and said,
"Here, baby, hit it."
Nah, baby, I ain't with it. You need more than a body to make me wanna sniff that shit. But I'll hit the blunt. So she took out her fronts, cracked the Philly, opened the bag and laid out the skunk. Then I took a long pull. It was hype, out of sight. She ran into the bedroom. So I cracked my pants for headroom. Laid across the cover and no brother, I was with it, ready to hit it. Asked my dick, yo, what's up, G? Yo, man, shit stick. Licked her on her belly, then kissed her down her back. Stuck my hand between her legs and I felt the Bozak as big as mine. This bitch must be played, so I threw my suit on and I was swayed. Cause I'm the
Superman lover, yeah, yeah, yeah. Call me the Superman lover, yeah, yeah, yeah. Something wrong. Something wrong with me.
This is Beat 729 in the Englewood Police District on the south side. Patrolman John Taylor, 23 years old, married, 4 children. He says being a policeman was a lifelong ambition. He has been with the department only a year and a half. His partner is Patrolman George Leverett, 32 years old, married, 4 children. He has been a police officer for 6 years. On this particular June day, Officers Leverett and Taylor's patrol will be routine. A few domestic calls and a traffic accident. But the Englewood district is a high crime rate area, and both men have been shot at more than once.
We have an assigned area that we work, and my area is 729, and it takes in the area of Halster Street, which is 800 West, to Ashland, which is 1600 West, from 7200 South to 7400 South.
Well, I don't look on it as a combat zone, as other people would say. Sometimes it might get a little bit bad out there, but the majority of the time, the neighborhood is not that bad. There's more good people than bad people, and a lot of people like to help you. They give you information, and they'd like to see the guns off the street just as much as we would, because as much as they might hurt us, it will hurt them.
A policeman's job is to help people primarily, as well as enforce the laws. There are more good people in the world than there are bad people, so the relationship is beautiful. Sometimes due to certain circumstances and certain incidents, you prefer not to be there because of the very nature. You could get hurt, or you could be the target of the entire group of people at that location.
You look at the people, how they act, the neighborhood they're in, what they like to do as far as, well, maybe little kids, how they play, where they play, what they do, and how they may act to us. sometimes we make arrests on, say, maybe a robbery or something, and here we risk our life to go into this tavern or house or whatever, to this, we might get the call, there's a man with a gun, possibly, and we go there as quick as we possibly can to save the victim. Now we go in there and risk our life, and when we bring this man, finally arrest him and bring him into the courts, he possibly will get fined, or after a couple times, he might be put in prison. But as a recourse, we have nothing to do with him because, how can I say it, he'll be out, after being arrested, he'll be out of the jail within 4 or 5 hours, and he's back on the street if he has bond money.
And by that time, maybe he's committed another offense, and you might see him in jail the next day.
Right.
So it's a continual thing. So some of the judges do crack down on some of the guys, but they are claiming that the way the law is written, the elements for the violation sometimes are not properly displayed in court as to prove a violation of the different elements in the law. So therefore, you must be proven guilty beyond a shadow of a doubt. There should be no doubt in the judge's mind or the jury's mind that there wasn't complete violation of all elements.
How do you feel about charges, especially in the black community, that police have been brutal?
Well,
police brutality. How do you feel?
Well, to my knowledge, there's no such thing as police brutality.
Well, what is it that all these people, many of them prominent public officials, are complaining about?
Well, from the indication from what they are saying, they have people that have told them that they were brutalized by the police, yet they fail to come up with star numbers, names of the policemen, the cars that they work in. These cars are numbered on the outside. They have state license plate numbers. They have the Internal Affairs Division, which is the proper place to lodge a complaint against the policeman. Yet, all these things that are available today, to my knowledge, policemen that are charged properly with a complaint of police brutality is thoroughly investigated, and if they are found guilty of this transgression, they are penalized.
I don't believe that there is police brutality. And as far as complaints about a policeman, anybody can complain about a policeman, and it'll be followed through. Whereas on brutality, if they went about it, people went about it the right way, it will be followed up through our division of IED, and to the fullest. They're very thorough. And if it's true, policemen will be penalized.
Turner Chamberlain has reservations about police review procedures. He lives in Maywood with his wife and 8 children. April 8th, he tangled with Chicago police on the city's west side. 2 officers stopped the Chamberlain car because a headlight was out. Chamberlain fixed it, but the policeman continued to write a ticket. Other members of his family stopped their cars to find out what was wrong, and they got into an argument.
I guess they called to the station in about a few minutes. It was about, 5 or 6 paddy wagon and 6 squad cars cut. And so they asked no question. They just jumped out and went to beating and throwing handcuffs on it to their car. I went to their car. I went to tell my wife something, so after they put the handcuffs and twisted my arm behind me. And so they hit me in the head with their stick. I fell down, so she run up there, they kicked her down, and she got the wrong understanding, they kicked her down. I had a sister with me too, she handicapped, they beat her side to head, knocked her down. My sister-in-law, I had a niece with me, knocked her down and drug her in the dirt. And so they put us in the paddy wagon, and I was bleeding so bad, my sister asked him, said, could I go with him? He told her, he said, yeah, you can go. And when we got to the station, they booked her too. They took my wallet. I had some money in my wallet. I had a security. See, I went security police. I had a security police badge in my car. I don't know, $250. They got my money, took my badge and wallet and all, stole it away. I had state firearm card. I ain't got none of that. They stole all and took my money out my wallet and stole that away. My sister ate her pocketbook in that car. They went through all them pocketbooks and took all that money. I don't know how much it took from her in that raid.
Now, the police always say that it's necessary for them to hit people because you're resisting. As far as you were concerned, did you resist?
I didn't resist arrest. I didn't say nothing. I didn't say nothing to nobody but the officers were talking. I mean, the rest of the guys come up there, I ain't open my mouth. They didn't either. They just come up there and went to beat and call a name. They kept me in jail from 3 o'clock to 6:30 that morning before I got to the doctor. Doctor said I could have lost too much blood, you know. He said it could have caused a bad engine, but it kept me so long. I got there and washed it out and shaded, and the doctor stitched it back up. And I left there. He told me to go to a private doctor.
What has happened to you as a result of this incident and as a result of the injury?
Head trouble, my head pain, lots of time. Sometime I had to go back to the doctor. Go to the ramshack, there were teeth in my head. It was about a week before I could eat. Oh, my gum on this side swole up. I couldn't open my mouth. My teeth were swollen up on me. I couldn't even eat. I had to drink a little soup to it, whatever.
What about your job?
I went back to that job, see, when I got hooked there. I went there Monday to my job, and I told him it would be a while because I couldn't come back to work till the doctor released me. And the guy looked at my head, you know, he looked at it. He told me to come back, so when the doctor released me, come back. So I went back. He said, he looked at it again. He said, no. So we can't work. You see, I was working off the 6th floor up. Couldn't have it. He said, you might get a pain or dizzy spell or something and fall off this floor. And, you know, I wish the insurance, the company would be in trouble then for that. They wouldn't work me.
Chamberlain's younger brother was involved in the incident. He said he, too, was beaten by police.
I was working with a security guard from downtown. Well, I started with him in 6th Wells Fargo. And I was been working with a security guard ever since. And after that incident happened, I decided I would never put a badge on again because I wouldn't want to do nobody the other way. I would have felt bad about it. And I would never broke the law. I'm 32. I had never been arrested before. I never been in jail. And so I decided I'd quit. I don't ever want to wear a badge again because they make me feel so bad.
Turner Chamberlain found a new job, but he makes less money than he did before. His complaint is still under investigation. The officer he named has not been disciplined. One police spokesman called it an unusually complicated case. While the investigation continues, Chamberlain faces criminal charges of battery and interfering with police. The brutality controversy was brought to a head by Chicago Congressman Ralph Metcalf. He called for a civilian review board, more black policemen, promotions for blacks already on the force, and the end to task force-type operations in the black community. Superintendent Conlisk took the demands under advisement and promised to meet with Metcalf again. The meeting did not materialize. Instead, Mayor Daley invited city and community leaders to a City Hall conference on police relations. Metcalf and the majority of other black leaders boycotted the session, calling instead on Mayor Daley to come into the community to discuss the problems. At the City Hall meeting, Superintendent Conlisk announced several changes in procedures. He empowered the Human Relations Commission to review all complaints of brutality. He said there would be active recruitment of more black and brown policemen. Patrolmen were ordered to stop the overzealous enforcement of federal immigration laws in the Latin community. Spanish translators would be hired, and training in ethnic and cultural problems was ordered for all present and aspiring patrolmen. In addition, the department is trying to develop an alternative to arrest for minor traffic violations. Conlisk further announced that he would hold a series of police community meetings in all police districts. The last of the sessions was held June 20th. That was the same day it was reported that 5 black policemen were suspected of murdering 7 black men because they feared the victims would expose their involvement in drug traffic on the West Side. There had been stormy community meetings before, but this was perhaps the stormiest. Uniformed members of the Afro-American Patrolmen's League took control of the session shortly after it began. After about a half hour, the meeting was abruptly adjourned, and police officials, led by Superintendent Conlisk, rushed out. One person in the audience said, "It doesn't matter that the meeting was turned out. They weren't going to do anything anyway."
Use of excessive force by Chicago policemen appears to be the exception rather than the rule. Last year, there was only one complaint of brutality filed out of every 3,800 arrests. The police department has strict and specific rules on the use of deadly force in making an arrest. But the regulations for using non-deadly force are vague. Officers are trained to expect physical and verbal abuse, but not to overreact to it. As part of the training, the officers are cursed at and humiliated just to see how well they can take it. Despite this, some officers still do overreact. Some policemen will say they have to be rough because people are rough. They talk about civilian brutality, about how they're shot at, attacked with knives, bricks, bottles, and fists. Most people would admit that a policeman's job is a dangerous one, but they also freely admit that the abuse of authority by a policeman is dangerous too. The image of the Chicago Police Department has suffered greatly in recent months. Not only are civilians charging brutality, but policemen have been convicted of extortion, and others are under investigation for murder and involvement in a narcotics ring. Recently, a law enforcement study group labeled the Chicago Police Department trigger-happy, responsible for the deaths of 32 civilians over an 8-month period. Police officials say they're trying to weed out the bad policemen. There have been suspensions, dismissals, promotions, and demotions, all aimed at improving the police department. Much has been done, but much more remains to be done if all Chicagoans are to have respect for and confidence in the Chicago Police Department, a department that performs one of the most important duties in the city. The police motto is, "We serve and protect." The people of Chicago shouldn't be satisfied until every policeman lives up to that creed. Carol Simpson, NBC News.